Aloha! Practice today is going to be a Sun Salutation flow practice that gets us to experience different shapes. And you can do it with either a chair if you don't come into Downward Facing Dog or the ground. And you'll also need 2 blocks and a strap. So we're going to start in mountain pose with 1 block. And what I'd like you to do is to take the block between your legs, stand with your hips over your heels, and lift your toes, root down at the base of the toes, the heels, lengthen up, all the way up through the crown of your head. Take your hands to your hip points, base of the palms on the hip points. The fingers reach down, spine lengthens up as you bring your toes to the ground. And then, before you really strongly squeeze the block, externally rotate your thighs a little bit. And then squeeze the block. It's a little bit different than internally rotating the thighs. Many of us actually have our thighs overly internally rotated, which is related to the strength in the gluteal muscles too. So you might feel that if you just let go of that rotation, and then take your hands to the sides of your hips, so the side glute, the glute medius, externally rotate the thighs, you may feel those muscles engaging a little bit. You may also feel your inner feet coming off the floor. That's just because of the bone structure based on our habits of movement. So don't worry about that for today. But have that external rotation. We're working towards having the knees, right now, the knees as parallel as possible, even if that means the inner feet come off the ground a little. That's fine for now. And then squeeze in with the block. That inward squeeze can give a little more length to the spine. Ah, nice long spine. Bring your toes down if they're still lifted. And then take your hands behind your head, a little proud peacock. You may notice I do that a lot these days because I find it so useful. Reach your elbows away from each other. Lengthen the back of your neck as you take your chin back a little. Breathe. What does this have to do with salutations? Well, building the mountain. I'm trying to find a good connection. We build the mountain, we salute the sun, but really it's about building the foundation, building an alignment foundation, what is neutral, and then we can move out and beyond and past and back, but we always know where neutral is. From there, take your arms wide. Root down to lift up, lengthen out through your fingertips. Now keep the length you've created in your spine as you lower your arms down. Bring your palms together over your heart. Press the palms in towards each other, reach your elbows away from each other. Breathe. Just do little arm movements. Keep gently squeezing the block. Remind yourself a little external rotation in the thighs. Inhale, take your arms out to the side. Exhale, bring them back down. So arms are not going much more than shoulder height to start with. Inhale and exhale. 2 more times this way. Inhale and exhale. Next time, take your arms a little higher and hold them there. Inhale. Because I'd like us to be aware of is that when we take our arms overhead, there's an extension of the spine, which means there's a backward bending position for the spine at some point. So go slowly here. Begin to take your arms up a little higher, a little higher. Keep squeezing the block. As you take your arms up higher, you might take your head up a little bit because extending the spine means your neck as well. Begin to take the arms a little closer towards each other. Looking up, feet grounding, spine lengthening. Good. And then bend your elbows, bring your palms together. As your hands come past your eyes, bring your gaze forward again. So do this a few times, a little faster. We inhale. As the arms come up past shoulder height, begin to bring your gaze up. Move back so you can see my hands. Find the place where you are lengthening your spine, but not jamming into the shoulders. Then bend your elbows, bring your palms together. And again, inhale. And exhale. A few times at your own pace. Inhaling up, exhaling down. The next time you take your arms up there, hold them for a moment. Root down with the feet, lengthen up with the spine, press your thighs back as you squeeze into the block, and exhale, palms together. Good. Release the block and bring the block, both blocks, to the front of your mat. Take a moment, mountain pose, standing sideways. So the chair is there for those of you who are not coming into full Utanasana, full forward bends. You can choose. Well, bring your palms together and inhale. If you have a ledge in the way, just manage with that. Take your arms on up. Keep the length. Look up and then exhale, Utkatasana. Go ahead, bend the knees. Lengthen through the arms. Reach the hips back. Play with it a little. Rock your weight a little forward on the ball of your toes, a little back on your heels. Forward and back a few times. Check, maybe you lower down a little bit. How does that change the position of your arms? If you lower the hips, can you keep the arms up? Can you keep your gaze up? And then fold forward over your thighs. Either come into a right angle on the chair, move towards straightening your legs, or let your spine drape down towards the floor and then move towards straightening your legs. Good. Then from there, either take your hands up to the blocks or down to the blocks and take your left leg backwards into a lunge. So come to a position where the knee is above the ankle, reach long through the left heel, lengthen your spine, bring your shoulder blades down your back, and rock your hips a little forward and back. So I just want to point out that when I come into forward bends, these days I'm not trying to go as deep as I can. I find that's not actually good for my spine. So I'm going to be conservative with those forward bending. I know for some of you it feels great to go deep, especially if you do not have a curvy spine. But curvy spines, sometimes it's not great to go that deep into it. Okay, from here, from this lunge, put the blocks a little lower, maybe even all the way down. Take your hands onto the floor, come into a plank position. And just hold there. Root down with the base of the thumb and forefinger. Lengthen up with the spine. Reach the legs back. Firm the shoulder blades. And then lift your hips up. Make your way into Downward Facing Dog. You might need to move your feet a little bit. And first, Downward Facing Dog. Let's rock a little bit or bend the knees one at a time. Open up in the calves. So bend one knee. Bend the other knee, just back and forth. If you find one side that could use a little bit more, stay there. All right, and then lift your heels as high as they will go. Take your sit bones up and back. And lower your heels on down towards the floor. And again, I forgot to mention, if you're not doing your head below your heart, you take your hands onto the back of the chair for Downward Facing Dog. And then walk your feet forward. Take a moment. As you're here, rock your legs a little forward and back as well. Bring your hands to your sacrum. And inhale, come up to standing. Sweep the arms on up. Exhale, palms together. Maybe you need to tuck in your shirt. Depends where you're at. Second side. We inhale. Arms come up. And again, play with it, Utkatasana. Take the hips and the knees back. Play around the position of the arms, the head a little. Shift the weight a little back and forth. Maybe bend the knees a little more. Maybe come back up. And then fold forward, either onto the chair or forward towards the ground. Move towards straightening your legs. And then take your right leg backwards into a lunge. Take the blocks. Reach long through the back heel. And rock a little forward and back. Breathe. And then from here, bring your hands onto the ground. Take your left leg back. Hold plank for a moment. So plank, I cannot see myself, but I'm working on having a nice fluid line, so I'm not having my hips up. Reach through the heels. Little belly practice in there. All right, and then press the thighs, the hips, downward facing dog. This time, take a hold of the outside edges of your mat. Use that as a way to pull on the mat so the hands come forward as your hips move back. Let your head release, let your head hang. Take your heels as high as they will go. Root down at the base of the toes, sit bones up and wide, and then slowly lower your heels again. And then bring your feet forward, again, between your hands. Let your spine release or bring your hands onto the chair. Take your hands to your sacrum. Inhale, come up. Extend the arms. And exhale, palms together. Feel the feet grounding down, hips over heels. Right? I catch myself moving forward. Then I bring myself back. And again, let's inhale, arms up. This time, look up, keep looking up as you come towards Utkatasana. Bring your hands either onto the chair to straighten the legs, or bring your hands towards the ground. There's many, infinite variations of Sun Salutations. We're just playing with one today. Left leg comes back into a lunge. Reach long through the back heel. And then have a feeling of the knees moving away from each other. Right knee forward, left knee back. What does that do to the spine? Then take the block that's under your left hand, bring it to the big toe side of your right foot. Keep your spine long, begin to spiral to the right. Take your right hand onto your sacrum. Long reach through the back leg. Take your thumb to your right hip point. Encourage that right hip point to stay where it is as you spiral the spine. There's a tendency for the hip to swing out to the right. Root down at the base of the palm from here. Take the right arm on up. Variation of Pavrita Parsvakonasana, revolve side angle pose. One more inhalation. Exhale, unwind. Re-lengthen the spine and come on to your hands. If being on your hands in plank doesn't work, bend your knees. That's fine. Root down with the thumb and forefinger. Lengthen up with the spine. Keep reaching through your hips. Rock your toes a little forward and back. Maybe come over the top of your toes. If that's too much on your wrists, of course, skip it. All right, and then very slowly lower to the ground. You can do that with your knees bent if it doesn't work with your legs straight. Hug your elbows by your side. Lift up a little bit. Slide your forearms forward. Root down with the forearms. Firm the shoulder blades. Open up the chest. Get a little pull, nice opening in the belly. And then release on down. Slide your thumbs so they're right under your elbows. We're going to come back onto our hands and knees. but doing it with attention to alignment. So bend your knees, feet come up towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to ask you on your exhalation to press down with your hands and lift your torso up with the intention of not sagging in the belly. So inhale, exhale, and then take a puppy pose. And from here, walk your hands a little closer to your legs, come into Downward Facing Dog. Find the reached length. And then bring your feet forward, back into forward fold or hands on the chair. And inhale, up to standing. Exhale, release. Second side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Play with it a little. Folding forward. Take your right leg back into the lunge, left leg forward. Long through the back heel. Long, long, long. Then take your right hand, big toe side of the left foot, left hand on the sacrum, spiral. Open the chest, take your thumb to the left hip point. Open up the upper outer thigh. Reach. Maybe the left arm comes up. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, unwind. Release the blocks. Come onto your hands. Now this time you can again choose to come down with your legs straight. I'll demonstrate with the knees bent this time. So when you come down, bend your elbows directly backwards. Lower slowly. Work towards keeping a stability in the center as you lower down. And then keep your hands where they are this time. Walk your elbows towards each other. Gently lift the chest. Very baby cobra. It's working all the little muscles along the back. So even if it's not a big movement, it's a good one, powerful movement. Release down. Keep hugging your elbows by your side. Bend your knees. Take a nice inhalation. And exhale. Straighten the arms. Back into Downward Facing Dog. And then bring your feet forward between your hands. Let your spine release, or again, hands on the block, on the chair. Bring your hands to your sacrum. Inhale, come up. Open up the chest. Exhale, palms together. Take a moment, mountain pose. So you may find that that's enough. Just a good way to get a lot of the different parts moving. One variation of Sun Salutations. If you enjoyed this, let me know, and I'll do more variations. I haven't taught a lot of Sun Salutations for a while, and I'm realizing it's because after I had my car accident, it was a car accident a while ago, I hurt my shoulder, and some of the movements were challenging for me, and I'm only now starting to get back into them, like going from plank to chaturanga, put a lot of pressure on my shoulder, and I haven't done that for a while, and I miss it. So I'm hoping to do more, but also I'm going to need to take it slow, because I have to build up that part of the body. Now that I have the range of motion back, now I have to build the strength. So some of you may notice that I also sometimes have trouble ending, so I'm always trying to practice how to give a good ending. I will say, may you go with the flow, enjoy the sun, and saluting. Till next time, mahalo.